Well, somebody had to pay for what happened last week, and that was TCU.
Yes, it was.
Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm John Barbin. With me is Jeff Dover. Let's talk football.
We're a couple of average football fans that watch college the NFL. We hope to earn your like and subscribe today. Before we get going, we have a new feature here at Saturday versus Sunday. You can now email us your thoughts about the game as you watch it or as soon as it's over. We always engage our listeners in the comments, which happens obviously after the pod is dropped. But now, if you're lucky, maybe we'll mention your comments on the pod when we do our review of the game, on the day. So you can email us at SaturdayVSSunday@gmail.com and leave us your thoughts about the team that you're watching. That's SaturdayVSSunday@gmail.com, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts. But until then, this is our review of the BYU Texas TCU game. What are your initial thoughts, Barbin?
Well, somebody had to pay for what happened last week, and that was TCU.
Yes, it was. That was my note, was that BYU really likes not playing Texas Tech. That was my line, because I can't believe this is the same offense. They really struggled moving the ball against Texas Tech, and they did not have that problem against TCU.
Not at all. Actually, I have a note here saying this is one of the more creative and fun offenses to watch.
Yeah.
I just thought, I don't know. I was like, man, every play is just, it's creative. It's different. The other team, now maybe it's because the run game was working. So when the run game works, it just, you can do anything you want. And if you can actually pull it off, especially when you have a quarterback who can also get involved in the run game, the defense haven't been a blender. They just don't know where they're going.
Yeah. No, you're right. If you can run the ball, you're gaining positive yards. You're always ahead of the sticks. Like 2nd and 5, 3rd and 3. The entire playbook is open, right? You can do short passes, long passes, counter run. It doesn't matter. Because it's manageable, and the defense has to know that you can run anything you want at that point, right? So. No, it's just great to watch. We felt this way about BYU for some time. We've watched them on offense and enjoy watching them because it's creative. It's different than other teams. That's what makes college so good. The NFL, most offenses look the same, but in college they can look different. And this offense feels different, and it's exciting to watch.
It's so much fun to watch. So Bachmeier, he's starting to look like Tebow, but with a better throwing motion. Oh,
that's a great comparison. It is and he's young, he's been, well renowned that he's a young, freshman, but he looks like he's getting better, as the season goes on, which is a great sign. And he can run and throw. He's built like Tebow, he's a large individual, but at almost 300 yards passing and a TD, no interceptions, over 50 yards running. It's a great game.
Yeah, he accounted for 350 yards, a TD on the ground, a TD through the air. The broadcast was mentioning he was pretty fired up, almost like a mini Tebow speech thing, like when they lost to Ole Miss that one season where they really shouldn't have lost anybody. So I just see so much of Tebow in this guy. And the broadcast also said, forget that 230. He's bigger than that. When they saw him in person, they're like, this guy's massive. So he has he can run the ball. He's getting, like you said, he looks like he gets better every game, which is a good sign too. It's not like how Lenore Sellers is regressing. And I mean, he has more of he's got an NFL type release, not like Tebow where you just know that guy can't play in the league with that type of release. So, but just his style, his size, everything about him, how he plays, all I can see is Tebow with a better arm.
Yeah, and I think they also mentioned that in the broadcast too, is that they're giving him a little bit more control. Normally you would protect a freshman QB, in terms of having to make too many reads or putting him in a position where something could go really wrong, and they're starting to let go of the reins a bit because it seems apparent there's not a situation that they're worried about him being in anymore. And which is really saying something too, but just in terms of the QB comparison, because going into this season, Hoover is the more established QB by far. He was an outstanding QB, had 3,000 passing yards, I think, last year or something.
Oh, more. I think he's over 4.
And he only completed 10 passes this game. And so the Bachmeier completely outplayed him.
Absolutely. And that's a good point. If I mean, Hoover's obviously, people think he's going to be an NFL type. He's going to be a draft pick somewhere, like like how he plays. And he had a ton of yards last year. So yeah, to outplay him as a freshman is a big deal. I mean, I think somewhere in if Bachmeier continues to improve and they keep having players around him, he's got to be headed for a Heisman candidacy somewhere in the next 3 years if he sticks for 4.
Hopefully, it's got along the long lines of famous BYU quarterbacks being successful. Just a quick note about Hoover: he did have 3,000 passing yards last year and 949. So yeah, you're close. It's closer to 4.
Right.
So you're right about that.
So yeah, to shut down Hoover's no joke.
No,
so, and they have legit receivers. McAllister and Dwyer are good receivers. I mean, TCU was one of the preseason. I think they were expected to be in the mix at the end of the year.
Absolutely. So, no, and the good thing about McAllister, too, is that he's got some of that wide receiver ego, too, because about not getting the ball enough. They had a bit of a dust up there in the sideline, which again, I think is, you wouldn't expect anything less from a leading receiver. They're thinking they should get the ball more and and that they're open. So, he targeted him a bunch of times. He had 100 yards receiving. He's a good receiver.
Yeah, and I mean, we could go over the box score here, but everywhere you look, it was just a complete dominant performance by BYU. We got 28 first downs to 15. We're 6 for 12 on third down efficiency, held TCU to 1 of 10. And I think that one happened like in the not until the second half. 447 yards to 298. I mean, they were just all over them all throughout the game. They time of possession 36 to 24.
That was huge. Yeah. And at one point through the second quarter, one of the notes that I had here, they were outgaining TCU's 187 to 37 yards. Like it really was a dominant performance by them. And
Satuala, the interception, that was wild because the receiver had the under position. And I had to rewind it 2 or 3 times. Like, how the hell did he pick that off? But it went. He took it right out of his hand.
Yeah,
that was a wild interception.
And then his hands were like just past, and it was
I've never seen that where the receiver's got the under position, the ball is there, and you somehow get it out of his. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, and it going full speed out of bounds too. And so because I was worried that they were going to run into the wall or something there because both of them were really flying out there, but no. So he held on to it. So no, that was an amazing interception. And the BYU's defense is legit. Like TCU, couldn't. They held them to just over 100 yards rushing and under 200 yards passing. Like that is a really good defensive performance.
Yeah, and I guess towards the end of the second half, if this was ever even going to be a game, that's when TCU seemed to have at least some momentum. They scored, and it's like, okay, are they going to get some kind of momentum here? But then BYU just took it right back. So there was never a time where it felt like TCU could string together multiple possessions and really get back in the game. I mean, BYU scored on what, five or 6 straight drives. So yeah. That has to be really disheartening when you don't, no matter what your offense is doing, you're like, oh, right. And they're going to score again. Like this lead is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Like when you're in chase mode like that, that's got to be really disheartening because your defense, TCU's defense never got to stop. So yeah,
I think they scored on 7 consecutive possessions. I think if I'm getting that correct. So because they didn't punt until the fourth quarter. So, and at that point, that's when it was 37-13. So.
Yeah, and then I mean, to top it off at the end, I guess BYU fumbles a snap on a punt. Yeah, and then on the next possession, Tanner Wall just goes pick 6. Yeah. So it's like now I know the game's it's academic at that point, but even then TCU can't even capitalize on that. So it was just a complete avalanche here. Like right from the get go, BYU was all over them. They obviously showed up ready. I mean, kind of like what I said of it, like this, I think TCU was the unfortunate victim paying for what happened last week. That's exactly what it looks like. I think maybe my guess is if I'm to project how they must have thought, they were trying to prove to themselves, like, no, we're better than that. Like, and even the broadcast said it. When they interviewed the players want a second shot at Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game. And the broadcast was mentioning the players said, oh man, we're better than, like, we're competitive. We can compete with Texas Tech. Like, give us another shot and we'll really show you what we have. And it seems like, to me, if that's true, this game was them making the statement, no, this is who we actually are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's, all that stuff's correct. And I also think that, I'm really hats off to the coaching staff too, because there's some teams after a big loss, which is what it was to Texas Tech. That was a big loss, that they don't come out sharp and they don't come out on point, because it's normal to be down a little bit after a loss like that. And so that they didn't do that, like, to their credit. Like, they came out and they, that's not who we were, and they played way better. So it was a really impressive, all around great game from BYU.
Yeah. My other note here, getting back to Bachmeier, that kid's just impressive.
It's awesome.
He throws really well on the run too.
Yes.
Like, his accuracy on the run, it's on point. Like, it's just from the pocket on the run when he needs to run. If he doesn't seem to get rattled too much. Like, I don't see him making, like, really bad decisions. You would expect a rookie freshman, however you call it, to actually make some bad decisions under pressure. But I have to remind myself that he's a freshman. He's playing so well. I think, oh, right, this guy, it's reasonable. He'll have a couple of bad plays or even a bad half or a bad game being a freshman. But I'm kind of just expect him to make all the right decisions, to be poised, to not make. I just expect that out of him, because that's just what he does.
Yeah, no, he's getting better, and they're not treating him like a freshman QB. Like, they're not trying to protect him, like, just quick throws and things, like, because teams would do that with a freshman QB, and he's got a full control of the offense. This is the most control he's had of this offense all season. And that's the coach is putting him in that position. Just as another side note from this game too. This is the first game that I've watched that had Osweiler commentating, like the former QB, right?
No, it isn't. You just don't remember that it's Osweiler all the time.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you've watched more with Osweiler. He's
really
great.
He's amazing. Yeah. I thought he was fantastic. He had a great point about some of the same stuff that you said about Bachmeier, about him running out of the pocket and throwing, but also about the guy asked him when the Hoover and the wide receiver having the conversation there in the sideline. He's like, "Has that ever happened to you?" And he said, "Oh, too many times to remember." And it was a great, and so I thought he was fantastic. So, but I don't remember. This is the most I've enjoyed watching Osweiler comment a game.
Yeah, you probably just. I know you've watched games where he's commented, because we've reviewed them, and I know you've watched them. It's just you probably didn't realize that was Osweiler. I was surprised too because his voice makes me think of McCarron or whoever it is that does the SEC game. Yep. Kind of sounds the same, and then like, oh no, that's Osweiler, and he's great. He's
I really liked him.
Good. So, I mean, what can we say about both teams? Obviously, it's a disappointing season for TCU. I think the expectations were higher given who they have at quarterback and their recent history. Like, this is a good team.
What sucks for TCU is that going in, like you said, they had a returning QB. We thought they were going to be good this year, and they've lost all the key Big 12 matches. They've lost to Arizona State, Kansas State, Iowa State, and BYU. Those would have been like sort of the four best teams, going into the season. So that's a tough one for them.
So, as crazy as this sounds, BYU still needs to continue winning here to secure this spot in the Big 12 title game. I never want to say a team is going to be an easy win, so they're going to have to focus each week here. Like, UCF is obviously the last one where I think they're clearly the better team against UCF. So if somehow they drop the UCF game, that's BYU making a mistake, not UCF. Yeah. If both teams show up in an A game, BYU is going to crush them. Yeah,
so UCF 1-6 in Big 12 play, that would be one of the upsets of the year if that happened.
So again, though, 1 week at a time. So the whole thing seems to revolve around the Cincinnati game, and Cincinnati's no joke. That team, that's a good team.
No, they had a bad game this week. They lost against Arizona. So, but at Cincinnati, night game. That's not a gimme.
Right. And Man, will that throw a monkey wrench into this whole thing? Because Cincinnati...
There's a ton of teams then that would have 2 losses. So, yes.
Right. Yeah, Cincinnati's third loss is out of conference. It's Nebraska, which they totally could have won that game. So so they're going to... I mean, that just
I don't even know. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be up to 5 teams with a 6-2 record.
So they would have the tiebreak over Utah, right? Because they beat them in the Holy War.
Yeah.
If they lose to Cincinnati, that gives Cincinnati the tiebreak over them. But how does that work? As long as it,
I don't know.
This could get kind of messy, right?
Kind of, yeah. It'd be 6. It'd be 6 teams with their 5 teams with the same record. It'd be terrible. Like it's all, but it's the tiebreak. I don't know if you. We haven't spent too much time going over this, but they have determined like how to solve the tiebreaker in every conference. But it goes 11 or 12 lines deep, because it's like, head-to-head conference record, opponent, sometimes ranked, at the time of the playoff. Like there's all kinds of things, weird things that factor in. So you don't want to do that. Like you want to control your own destiny. BYU is going to want to beat Cincinnati.
Yeah, the bottom line here is win out, take care of business. You're good enough to win out. So if you take care of your side of the thing, you should beat both of these teams, and you should finish the season 11-1. Which do you think an 11-1 team?
Oh man,
is there a way is there a way that they could finish 11-1 and not go to the Big 12 championship game? Is that even possible?
No, because they'll have a better record than ever. They'll only have 1 conference loss. So if they win,
that'll be Texas Tech. So they'll have right. Okay.
Yeah. So they're going the big. But where I thought you were going with that would be, so if 11-1 BYU loses to Texas Tech again in the Big 12 championship game, with a 2-loss BYU be out of the playoffs, and that's where I thought you were going.
Oh, an 11-2 BYU.
Yeah,
losing to the same team twice.
Right, and then because there might be an 11 or like a 10-2 Utah or a 10-2 Houston, right?
You mean as a second team getting it from this conference?
Maybe.
It also
but they're like also compared to other conferences, right? So yeah.
Is there any way two teams can end the Big 12 schedule? Oh no, yeah, it would be in the championship game. I was going to say with 11 wins.
No,
but it would be either Texas Tech or BYU. They're the only 2 ones that can do it.
Yeah.
I hope 2 teams get in from this conference.
Yeah, I mean, the BYU is good. I'd like to both Texas Tech and hopefully Texas Tech. If Texas Tech loses to West Virginia, that's also up there for like the upset of the year.
Yeah,
and so then I don't know what happens in that conference either in terms of but tiebreak and stuff. But at this rate, I hope Texas Tech and BYU make it the Big 12 championship game, and I hope it's a good game, and I hope both of them make it in the playoffs. I don't know if that's going to happen though.
So if Texas Tech wins their last game, which they should, they're going to go to the championship game 11-1 with one. Okay. Yeah. With the loss to Arizona State, then if BYU wins out, they'll go to the
11-1. Yeah.
They'll go with their only loss to Texas Tech, who they'll have a chance to avenge in the Big 12 championship game. In which case, it doesn't matter who wins. The Big 12 will have an 11-2 team,
a 12-1 and 11-2 team. Yeah.
And that would suck badly if the committee left the other one out.
Well,
no matter which one it is.
Yeah, I think that if BYU loses to Texas Tech twice, that'd be a harder case to put them in. If Texas Tech loses to BYU in the championship game, they would have 2 losses, but they're one of them. It's just not losing the same team twice. I feel like feels worse, but I don't know. But BYU is better than Arizona State, so that's tough to say.
Yeah, I guess if BYU loses to Tech again in the championship game, assuming they both show up with 11 wins, I suppose the committee we're just guessing how they think. Yeah. I suppose the committee could say, well, look, when they play against the best team in their conference, they can't get past them. That might be how they think about it, even though the record likely would merit them being in. But then if they win, then they'll have a win over what'll then be a top 10.
Yeah, it's sort of
team
split, right? It's sort of like they've lost to each other and they're both really good teams. I feel like that, you know what I mean? Right, but yeah.
Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, winning and losing to each other justify both of them.
A little bit, right?
Well, I guess now if BYU wins, beating them justifies them. Yeah. If Texas Tech wins, it just doubles down that they were the better team all along, right? Sort of thing.
Yeah, that's sort of what it feels like.
BYU fans were talking about how the committee must think. We think BYU is a good team.
Yeah, like we said, just to reiterate, I think both Texas Tech, BYU, if they take care of business the regular season, I'd like to see both of them in the playoff. But
yeah, and if BYU beats them in the championship game, it'll be a top 10 win because Texas Tech is they're ranked 8 right now, so they might be ranked even higher by then. Yeah. So that'll actually be their highest best signature win come right before the playoffs, which is probably way heavier on the committee. So, well, I mean, the job is clear. Win out.
Yes.
It's just clear. Win out. Got anything else on your notes?
No.
All right, that's all I got too. So if you're still with us, we appreciate you checking out the channel. We know it's small. We just started it last year. If you do like what we got going on and you'd like to support us, a like and a subscribe would go a long way, and we'd super appreciate it. So for Jeff Dover, I'm John Barbin, and that's your Saturday versus Sunday podcast.